All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Group Chart Analysis. It's Monday. It's June 25th, 2018, and we are getting close to the final week of June. Can you believe we're already 6 months into June? Or, wow, 6 months into this year. You know, June has 6 months now. I just added that. So we're getting far along, and I hope you guys are getting better and better at Forex, and the stuff's getting easier and easier to understand. You're making more and more money so that you guys can eventually do whatever the fuck you want. Because that's the point, right? That's the point, is to be able to live the life you want and be able to just travel. So, with that being said, let's get into these charts. Let's go look at what happened last night. Let's go see exactly what we can do to capitalize, because it's Monday. So today is going to be the first ideal day to trade. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the best. But let's take a look at what we got here on Euro USD, right? You guys know how I like to do. I like to start at the higher time frames, and I like to break it down. So based off these higher time frames, my analysis overall is still to have this thing decide to push up towards this 13 EMA, or the most recent resistance zone. If it breaks it, we're looking for it to retest this zone up here, which is ideally set up for the left shoulder, and then we could possibly see this right shoulder form as the head and shoulders drops, pulls back, drops to retest this low right there. This is going to be overall like what we're looking for. So in order for that to play out, obviously we're going to be looking for buys on the shorter time frame. So let's go down to the daily. Daily, you guys see perfectly here, we have a double bottom, right? We have a W. It's textbook double bottom, right off the most recent resistance, didn't take it out, wicked right to it, shoots up. And ideally off the double bottom, the best time to get into it is when it shoots up, breaks this high, comes down, pulls back, and then keeps going up, right? But we have to see, because the first place that on a pullback that pairs like this will go to is that 50 EMA. The 50 EMA is ideally the best zone, so that's where I still want this thing to push up. Now, I did had last night that EU was going to take a rise, and exactly what it did. It broke over the water on the 4-hour, wicked down last night, shot up, and ultimately that move that we had last night played out. So if you guys played this pair at all, awesome. It made its move. This is ideally what we were looking for. Now, on a short-term retrospect, what I want to see tonight is the continuation push up. There is no, it is divergent, but because of this double bottom that we have on the overall bigger spectrum, I do want to see a somehow shot down to retest this 50 EMA, and then a shot right back up to either retest this high where you could take a nice little buy from here to here, or a continuation up to this blueberry, which is 800 EMA. And that would be ideal because ultimately I wanted to break this high. So that means we still got all this room for it to go up and either break it or stay tuned to it. So that's what I'm looking for. Let me look at this 15-minute real quick just to see if there's anything. All right, so right now I do see divergence, but this divergence is on a smaller time frame. What this divergence tells me is that we're going to see a nice break in that 15-minute water, pull back, shot down, and we're going to see a nice W set up right on that Mayo, which is the 1-hour water, which is perfect for a pullback. So if this drops down, you guys might be able to catch the reversal during New York session to go back up with the trend. Even though the trend's technically overall down because it did form that, but it still has to form that pattern. And it did throw a massive W. EU throws textbook patterns. It's literally the easiest pair to trade. Hence why it is the most traded pair in all of Forex, because the patterns are clean. And we are witnessing that pattern play out right here. So continuation buys, small time frame. We are looking for a pullback to that water, shot right back up. The next point, you got a high, right? You got a low. You got a higher high. You got a higher low, higher high. The next thing is a higher low. So it's got to pull back, push up, or consolidate. But ideally, you want to see that higher low. So you're looking for a pullback to that water and then continuation. Let's go to U-Chief. U-Chief bounced right off of the trend line, which was, I did say this was going to continue down, but I also did say it was probably going to pull back, then drop, but it didn't. It just kind of rode that 1-hour catch-up, which is 15-minute water. I don't really like where this pair is at overall. This pair is just kind of taking its little time to do what it wants to do, but it is what it is. The daily, let me go to this weekly actually. Weekly through that railroad right there. So that's good. Let me go to the daily. Railroad's an M. It's hitting that water. This is the first spot. So we're gonna have to see what happens here. On this time frame, it's either gonna reverse back up and test it, or it's gonna break it and go to the next one. So now I gotta see based off of that. I gotta see what is gonna do it. It broke. See, it broke this trend line from here. 1, 2, and I'll even readjust it because I need to make sure it's perfect. So like about there. Broke the trend line. 1, 2, 3. Breaks it. Comes down. Retest this one. If anything, we could possibly see. Ready? See this stop hunt high hits the water, comes back down, and test the low. Right? Because now it's starting to come. The pattern's going to get a little weird now because of the fact that it just broke 2 trend lines and retested one. So it's probably going to shoot right up, and you can look for a. You can either place a sell limit, or you can just be patient, market execution, and then ultimately look for that drop back down. So expect the pull back up and then continuation. If not, it'll probably break it. So let me just be crystal clear on this. Either it's going to bounce off the water and continue down, or it's going to break the water, bounce off the water, do a move up to that Mayo. It doesn't necessarily have to be a perfect shot like that because the EMA is really close, so it could just shoot right up to that 1 hour Mayo and then decide to continue down. There's multiple scenarios. You just got to be patient with it. But ultimately, I want you guys waiting for that stop hunt high. If you don't see a stop hunt high, just don't trade it, because even though you may know the direction's down, if you sell it as it starts selling here and then it stop hunts high, guess what? There goes your account. If you over leveraged, or if you did proper risk management and you got in a low lot, you could scale in. You could take multiple entries, and then as it kind of comes back down, boom, now you just have 3 or 4 trades all in profit, and you just double your account. Pretty cool, huh? So that's UTIF. GU I still have for a nice rise. I was looking at this pair earlier, and it threw something that I didn't see last night, but now that I see it, does anybody know what this is? Right there. Do you know what the next move is that's going to happen? Because some people on here actually know what this is supposed to be. But at the same time, this is what I like to call someone responded. Sauce. Sauce. That's called sauce. That's right. Also, between the sheets. Right? Founded by Tom. But normally when you see this pair, railroad, form on the catch-up, the 13 EMA, and on the water, it necessarily tells a story that it could drop, but ultimately go right to the next EMA. So I'm going to say, expect the rise. And the reason I say that, and I'll show you exact proof, let's see. Let's go back to EU. What happened 2 weeks ago in EU? Does anybody remember that whole rise? Let me zoom in here. Let's see. That's the 1 hour. Oh, yeah, here it is. Skadoosh. Wow. Right there. Railroad on the catch-up, on the water, straight rise. Now, it pulled back here, but it ultimately did come up and it did hit that Mayo. So, we're going to look for the same shit on GU. Formed it right on the water and the catch-up. If it plays out correctly, skyrocket right to that Mayo. And I don't know. Does anybody know if there's GBP news in the morning? I know there's normally some at like 4:30 Eastern, which is like 1:30 PST. But I'm pretty sure there might be news. There's always news on GBP. But expect that rise, guys. The pullback is due. It's divergent. 4 hour. It pushed up real hard right in that water. I want to see this thing shoot up. But just in case, let me just make sure. If it doesn't shoot up, you're obviously going to take it back down with the trend to where? The recent low, right? So this is why I want you to be patient. It's in the middle right now. It's either going to shoot up to this Mayo and then break it, or retest and shoot up, or hit the Mayo and then form a pattern and go back down the trend, or it's going to drop down tonight and go to retest that low. All right. So I did. Those are that's literally the three options you got. Like, there's nothing else needed. I feel like I'm missing something. Why am I missing something? Oh, I am. Hold on. I'm missing a EMA. There you go. So it's either going to do this, this, or this. Three options. Want to know my favorite? This one. Shot up to the Mayo. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to watch, see how this goes. I will make adjustments in the go. So for those of you that are not in the Perfection Forex Signals group, I suggest you get in it, because Josh and I are destroying the charts. UJ, let's see. UJ is still chilling. It's just in the middle. Like, you see these EMAs, look how tight they are. There's no trend right now. The only thing there is this bullshit. Here. Come on. Then we got this. From like here. Come on. There we go. About there. So it's still got a little bit of room. This is not going to line up correctly, is it? Yep. Yep. This needs to get a little bit closer. Right about there. There we go. So because it's in the middle, I still don't like the way this looks, honestly. Because it could do a couple things. It could do this. Could bounce off where it's at right now. This is the daily, so it could consolidate for the next couple days and then shoot up to hit this high and then drop. It could continue to go down and then retest this low. That's a possibility. There is no trend. It can do whatever the fuck it wants. So this is something that if you guys trade, it's going to have to be like in and out type deal. This is not a pair I would hold over time, because it will literally do whatever it wants. It looks like it's going down. It's not divergent anyway. And normally when I don't see divergence, I just continue the direction that's going, the overall trend. It is divergent on this time frame though, but it's hard to tell. This is just an ugly pair, to be brutally honest with you guys. Right now it is, UJ's really a good pair to trade. It's just like, you don't want to be caught up in all this emotion. Took out these lows, divergent here, it's oversold. Like, so if that's the case, then either we're going to see a retest here and then a shot up, pull back, shot up, or it's going to shoot down, break below here, and continue on its path. That's literally the only options you got. Like, there is no other options. Like, if you're day trading this, I don't expect anybody to be swinging this right now, because there's really no setups. Oh, what's this? What's that? That's sauce? I think that's sauce. Look at it. Look at it. Right off the ketchup. Beautiful. That means this. That means drop. All right, we're going for sales, guys. That's kind of leading me. It's on the higher time frames too. So you're looking for sells. Stop hunt high, sell. Stop hunt high, sell. Even though I don't really think it's going to stop hunt that much, but that's what I want to see. I want to see this thing drop, not crossing both. But it should be good. It's in the middle. Who knows? Not my favorite pair, but guess what? I'm going to say continue with the downtrend. AU. Pull back. Ideally, this is where we wanted it to pull back to. In the zone. Here. This movement here. About there. So that's the supply zone that it came back to retest, which is good. Weekly. Holy wick. It's due for a pullback. Let's look at this daily. Is the daily divergent? It is divergent, and it's oversold. Let's see. Let's ideally draw this up. Yep, that's a clear upward slant, and this is obviously a downward slant. So we have divergence on the daily, and necessarily when I see that, either two things can happen. Either it comes back down to form a W, then shoots up, then pulls back for the inverted head and shoulders, and rises. Right? That's one option. And then your entry would be off the break here, the break of this, or if you are smart enough and you know how to play this, you can even play it on the bottom there. But ideally, the best setup would be here. So let me look at this lower time frame. I got to see if it's going to actually drop or it's going to shoot right up. So it's hitting the water, which is an indication for us to continue with the downtrend, because the only way we're going to look for the buy this is when it breaks that water. When it breaks it, it'll come back, retest it, and shoot up. Because it hasn't broke it yet, I can't confidently say you gotta buy it. Like I said, we have a W here, but this thing could literally just go up and right back down, and then up, and then down and up. Okay, so there's a couple of ways this could play out. Let me see. It's not even like that crazy divergent on the 4 hour, because it's not even like the best. It's not the type of divergence that before it needs to be a sharp and outside of the volatility band, but there is none. Here it's divergent. Now this looks good. This is why on the hour it like broke the water, but it's in limbo. I don't like how it's riding it like that. So either you're gonna see this thing shoot up and rise, or shoot up, drop, back down. But this is divergent, so I want to see this thing rise, but until it gives me a clear pattern, I'm not really seeing any. I can't even call that. It's not even like a good pair. There's nothing telling me it's going to continue back down. Just expect the rise up for now, and then if it shoots up, I want you to be careful what happens around this area, because it's either going to break it or bounce off of it. All right, so this is going to be the point of that makes or breaks this buy or sell. If it doesn't break it and it holds it like it did over here, then we can look for a sell. If it breaks it, then you're looking for a pullback and a buy. So just be patient on this pair. It's not in the best position, but it'll be setting up nicely soon. GJ. GJ. Overall, it's been dropping. There's no divergence. Go back up. The daily is riding a trend line, and it even broke this one. So it could come back here on the daily and retest the line again, and possibly shoot up to come back up, retest the trend line again, and drop. Like, there's a couple things that could happen. Or it could ignore that and completely break this low, come back, retest, and then drop again. So that's a couple options. That's the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour. Was oversold, hasn't clearly broke the 50, so this thing could shoot down, hit that trend line again. Notice how it hasn't broken. It's just been riding this line. It's been riding it. So I want to. It could either drop back down right now and then shoot up, or it could just kind of wick up now and shoot up and continue. But this is going to be a point where if it does break this low, guys, if it does break it in that trend line, you will look for a retest. I'm going to drop right here. This would be your entry on the 4 hour. So this could happen midweek. This could be the midweek reversal on a Wednesday. Like, we kind of have to see exactly what's going to happen before you guys make a move. I don't want you making any prejudgmental moves, because then you're going to be watching your charts all day. Nobody here needs to be stuck at their charts for 24/7, unless you're Josh McDonald and you have nothing else better to do. He does what he wants. He's a fucking G. All right, so it's hitting this water right now. I'm just going to throw a railroad here in water, and it's going to shoot up again and continue to this trend line like I was saying before. Or it's just going to say, fuck Ryan, and drop all the way down here.
Dude, he always comments on the Instagram.
Cole, I just muted you. And then So I honestly, on a short term, I do believe this is going to drop, but long term, long term, I do believe this is going to drop. Short term, I believe this thing's going to shoot up to that Mayo one more time and probably hit that drop. So we're going to be really careful. Let me look at the 15-minute too. See if I can get like a nice, precise entry. Oh, look at that. Throw to W. Look at that. 1, 2, rise. And it's what? Right off of the water and the Mayo and the 144? Are you shitting me? Good shit. It's going to be a nice buy. It's going to be a nice little buy ski. That's what I'm saying. Be looking. Who's commenting? Who's talking? Attaboy, Cole. There you go, bud. So that's what you're looking for on that. EA. This is why I was waiting. I was ultimately looking for this thing to be a sell because on the weekly it was hitting this this pattern. It's divergent on the weekly, left shoulder head, right shoulder drop, but I feel like it's just retesting right now. It's just doing its thing. It's in the middle. I mean, look at the EMAs. The water and the Mayo are like right there on the 4 hour. It's even clear. I mean, the EMAs are so tight, but we gotta wait on this pair. Right now it's still continuing in the direction that it's going. Obviously, let me close this. 1, 2, still divergent on this time frame. A lot could happen here. Either it's just going to, because it forms a new high, so after new high, new low, right? So it's got to drop or at least consolidate. And it's either going to continue up to that recent weekly high or it's going to drop down, pull back, drop down again for like a mini head and shoulders as the right head. Ready? So this is what I like. This is what I tell people. Every pattern is a pattern within a pattern, right? So it's like Inception. It's a big mind fuck. Notice how this is the left shoulder, right? But also that the left shoulder is a head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, drop, right? That's a head and shoulders. And over here you have what looks to be like an ugly head and shoulders, but more like a double top. So this is actually, I wanted to say that this is a massive M right here, even though it didn't come up to retest, but it's away from peak. So this would be the actual drop, retest, drop again. So that's a pattern. And then we potentially have one setting up right here. So you have the divergence with the RSI overbought, with the shark fin giving us a very good signal of a reversal, and it's setting up nicely for a head and shoulders. Right, so let's zoom in here. So this right shoulder of the massive head and shoulders could potentially overall be a head and shoulders. And that's why I look for precision. Right? And I look for, if this is really going to be a head and shoulders, that means I got to wait for this thing to drop, pull back, consolidate, then drop again. So this pair could be a little bit before it makes its move. It could actually form a head. So the head of this head and shoulders could be a double top where it drops down, comes up, you test the high, doesn't break it, then drops, pulls back, and then you got the head and shoulders. So wait on this pair. I don't want you guys touching it, especially where it's at. Wait for the formation to form, and then we'll go from there. Still like EG at all. Up, is it getting close? Ooh, do you guys see this? If it gets up to this top and it doesn't break it, buy low, sell high. Sell high. So if it doesn't break it, can somebody tell me what they're going to do? Just off of this 4 hour. If it hits that line, doesn't break it, doesn't break these wicks, stays beneath it, what are we doing? Oh, wait. Who knows it? Come on. This is so simple. Sell, right? You're going to sell it. There you go. You're going to sell it. You're just waiting. It hasn't hit it yet, so you have nothing else better to do except wait. Look, it's still forming higher highs. So until it hits this zone, and I'm going to say right about here, right? So my line that I drew, right, is at 0.88241. So if you guys draw your lines about there and then start looking for that zone to be popping, you guys can catch some pips on the way down as you sell. So be ready. Be ready for a sell on EG. GA. consolidating as well. Possible head and shoulders forming. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder could drop. Let's look at this monthly. Oh, looks like it's forming like a railroad. Oh, damn, it actually looks like it's forming a between the sheets. We'll know if this is a between the sheets trade in the next 5 days. Oh, hold on. Somebody turn this off. So, this could possibly be a sauce or between the sheets trade in the next 5-6 days. If it decides to push up. If it doesn't, and in the next, by the end of the week it drops, then we'll know from there. Daily, it's not divergent on the weekly, which is cool. Man, this thing could shoot up, guys. This thing could keep going up. It looks good. Low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This thing could just keep going up. And I don't want to say look for yourself, because then I would be predicting. I mean, yeah, it's divergent over here, but I think this could shoot up, guys. Look, that's the most recent low. This is still valid. Or, yeah. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Above the stationary 50, drop down, retest, buy it. All right, so you're looking for a drop down. That means you can look for a sell tonight, and then going into either New York session or tomorrow's London session, you could look for a buy. Right, but it needs to come down to retest this EMA, one of these EMAs. Does that make sense? Your entry would be there. Because it's still an uptrend. There's no sign of it slowing down, so just keep going up with the trend. G-Chief. Continue. I don't even like this pair. It's not even setting up the way I want it to. Looks like a continued sell. Yeah, weekly showing a continued sell, guys. Just breaking the volatility and the stationary 50 at the same time. It broke this trend line. It retraced, broke this one. It's just kind of consolidating. Let me draw this real quick. Do this. Ooh. Come on. Load. A little bit more. Really? I think there it goes. About there. So it's riding the trend line, sticking with it. So it's 4 hour. Yeah, guys, just continue with the downtrend. It's divergent here, so it could pull up, right? So oversold here. You got price coming downwards. Horrible drawing, but you get it. So either drop down on the 4 hour tonight and then a retest of that water for it to either break it, retest, shoot up again, or hits that water and then drops again and takes out the low and continues in the trend. So we have all week for this to play out, but let's look at this 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour looks like a drop. Easily come down, retest, rise, or breaks, retest, continue, or somehow doesn't break, comes about here and retest this low, doesn't take it out, and then continues up. Not my favorite look, but ultimately the trend is down. You're selling. That's it. Trade with the trend. You're looking for sells. And then gold. Gold is an overall downtrend. It broke 2 of the strongest trend lines that it had recently, so it's been continuing. This thing could possibly pull up. Right? Ultimately, I want this thing to drop, but this thing could pull up, retest this zone, and then drop. It's an overall downtrend. So if any of you guys have buys, look to get out as it starts to shoot up around this area, and then we can drop it back down. So gold is just a continuation. So let's go to AJ. I'm looking at AJ recently. Let's see. So look at this weekly. Come in retesting. It's in consolidation. Overall, it's a downtrend. Let me see this. No, it's in limbo. It's in the middle. Could potentially pay out, right? On the daily. You see on the daily, it's consolidating here, where it's just like going up, down. So this is the area of sell high, or sell high, buy low. So it's at this low right now, shooting down now. But if it doesn't take it out, this thing could still shoot up to around that Mayo area and then drop back down for a sell. So ultimately, on a lower time frame, you could possibly be looking for buys. Right? Here's a low, formed it up. It's wicky. It's been resisting for the whole last week. So it's quite possibly due for this shot up towards the water. It hasn't even touched the water yet, so it's due for some sort of pullback, especially since it took out this low. This is the most recent low right here. Here's the new low. It needs to pull back. It needs to do something. All right, let's go to the 1 hour. 1 hour. Shooting down now. If it doesn't take out this low, so either it's going to break this low right here, pull back, continue, or it's just going to wick, shoot up, bounce off the water, continue. There's a couple ways this can happen. So, be patient on this pair. This isn't like, obviously the greatest, most accurate pair, but if I had to guess right now, if we're going off of, overall trend, I think it possibly is going to be a nice buy because it is at that low and it hasn't taken it out. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'll do one more pair. Don't know why I look at it. You know what? No, I'm not looking at this pair. We're done. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, we had some people on here before everyone started hopping off, but just a lot of positions just need to pull back. EU looks definitely the cleanest for a nice drop down and then a push back up later tonight. I'll even show you again. Really? Okay. So either push down tonight and then a rise back during New York session. That would be, pretty cool looking. GU looks also good as well for the 4 hour sauce trade that ultimately tells us it's going to be a nice little buy to that Mayo. UJ I wouldn't touch. AU possibly looking for buys if it doesn't break down here. GJ shooting down, possibly bounce off that EMA and then shoots back up. Euro AUD, don't touch it until we can see a nice setup happen overall. EG sell high. GA drop down tonight, possible continuation up as it continues to fringe. G Chief, you are looking for continued sells. Gold, you are looking for a possibly push up, but then a continued sell. AJ, we're looking for on a fringe. We want this thing to be a push up, overall downtrend. And yeah, that's what we're looking for. So anybody have any questions? Not a lot of craziness going on. There's nothing to be excited about except for the base pairs. But other than that, like nothing insane. If not, I'll be posting this in the group chart analysis page. So for those of you that are new, welcome. And for those of you that have been on here, I will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock sharp. Everyone have a great night. Peace.